I was halfway between sleep and a NyQuil coma when I heard her whisper, "When he leaves for his conference, bring the wine and that thing you used last time." I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just laid there under the covers. Heart pounding in my ears like a drum line. Her voice was soft, playful, giggly in a way I hadn't heard in months. I was supposed to be asleep upstairs recovering from a fever that knocked me flat the night before my flight. She thought I was out cold. She was downstairs just below our bedroom. The floor vent carried every word straight to me. "Yeah," she said, "he's leaving Friday morning. Gone all weekend. You'll have the whole house." My name is Makey. I'm 35. I write code for a living, fix things that break, and up until that moment, I thought I had a good marriage. 10 years. No major fights. No secrets, or so I believed. I sat up slowly, the sweat on my back turning ice cold. My phone was on the nightstand. I grabbed it, hit record, and held it near the vent. "I can't wait," she said. "Just don't forget the wine this time. And that thing you used." The call ended with a soft laugh and a click. I stared at the phone in my hand like it had betrayed me too. 2 weeks ago, I asked her about Ricky. I'd seen a text pop up, just a flash on her screen while she was cooking. "Miss you already." She said he was a coworker. Said it was a joke. Said I was being insecure. I believed her. God help me, I believed her. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't scream or flip the table or demand answers. I did what I always do, I thought. I planned. The next morning I told her I was still too sick to travel. She looked disappointed for a second too long, then forced a smile and said, "That's okay. Rest up." That night, while she showered, I installed a small camera behind the bookshelf in our bedroom. Another in the hallway. One in the living room. All motion activated. All streaming directly to my laptop in the basement. Friday morning, I kissed her on the cheek and wheezed a fake cough. "Feel better," she said, tossing her bag over her shoulder. "Text me when you land, okay?" "Will do." I drove 5 blocks, parked behind the liquor store, and walked home through the alley. Entered through the basement door. Silent. Unseen. By noon, I was watching her from the shadows of my own house. She came home at 6, hair curled, makeup fresh, wearing the red dress I bought her for our anniversary. At 6:17 p.m., Ricky rang the doorbell. I recognized him from her office party last year. Tall, smug. The kind of guy who laughs too loud and touches people just a little too long. He walked in like he'd done it before. Kissed her on the cheek, then the neck, then the mouth. I stared at the screen. My hands were stone. They sat on the couch with glasses of wine laughing. She leaned into him, legs across his lap. He whispered something, and she giggled. They went upstairs at 6:42. I didn't watch what happened next. I closed the laptop. Just shut it. I sat in the dark for hours, listening to the faint thumps from above. I could hear her laugh. I could hear the bed creak. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there. The next morning, she texted me. "Hope the conference is going well. Love you." I stared at the screen, then typed back, "Love you too." That night, he came again. Different wine. Same routine. I recorded everything. By Sunday, I had over 6 hours of footage. I hadn't watched more than 30 seconds of it. I didn't need to. I called Kennedy that night. My best friend since college. He's a lawyer now, knows how to keep secrets. "You sure?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "I want divorce papers. Quietly. No confrontation yet." "All right, I'll draw them up." Before we hung up, he said, "You okay?" I didn't answer. Because I wasn't. Not yet. The second night, I didn't even flinch when the doorbell rang. Same time, Same man, same lie. I sat in the basement, hoodie pulled tight, laptop open. The feed flickered for a second, then steadied. Ricky walked in holding a bottle of red, grinning like he owned the place. Karen greeted him in a silk robe I hadn't seen in months. She kissed him like I didn't exist. Like the 10 years we spent building a life together were just a placeholder until he showed up. "You brought the good stuff," she said, holding up the wine. "Only the best for you," he smirked. They toasted on the couch. She curled into him like a teenager. I muted the audio. I couldn't hear her laugh again. Not like that. By the time they went upstairs, my jaw hurt from clenching. I didn't watch. I just let the footage roll. The camera caught everything in 4K, every betrayal, every moan, every moment they thought was hidden. I didn't sleep that night, just sat there staring at the wall, the silence louder than anything. The next morning, Karen came downstairs in a hoodie and leggings, hair tied up, sipping coffee like nothing happened. She saw me in the kitchen and blinked. "I thought you left already." "Flight got delayed," I said, not looking up from my cereal. She hesitated. "You feeling better?" "Getting there." She kissed my cheek. I didn't move. Later that day, I called Kennedy again. "Got the papers ready," he said. "You want to serve them now or wait?" "Wait," I said. "I'm not done yet." That night, I opened her laptop while she was in the shower. She never changed her password. It was still our daughter's birthday. I wasn't looking for anything specific. Just hoping I was wrong. I wasn't. There was a folder titled Work Stuff. Inside, a PDF of a hotel reservation from 3 months ago. 2 names on the booking. Hers and Ricky's. I clicked through her email. Found a thread between her and Lacey. That name hit me like a slap. Lacey used to be part of Karen's friend group. Always loud, always laughing. Then one day, she was just gone. Karen said they had a falling out, something about a misunderstanding, but the emails told a different story. Karen: "I can't believe we almost got caught again." Lacey: "You're lucky he's not the type to snoop." Karen: "He's sweet, too sweet. That's why it's easy." I stared at the screen, stomach turning. This wasn't the first time. I heard the water shut off upstairs. I closed the laptop and slid it back into place. At dinner, she asked, "How's the project going?" "Same old, nothing exciting." She smiled. "I'm glad you're getting a break. You work too hard." I nodded, chewing slowly. Watching her. Really watching her. She looked the same. Same eyes. Same hands. Same voice. But everything underneath was different. That night, I didn't go to the basement. I didn't need to. I already knew what I'd see. Instead, I sat on the back porch, scrolling through my phone, trying to feel something besides numb. A text popped up from Kennedy. "You holding up?" I typed back, "Barely." Then, as if the universe wanted to twist the knife, I heard Karen through the kitchen window. She was on the phone again. "Yeah, he's still sick. Honestly, I'm glad he's out of town for a long time. Gives me space." I froze. She laughed softly. "No, he has no clue. It's almost too easy." I stood up and walked back inside. She was leaning against the counter, phone to her ear, swirling a glass of wine. She jumped when she saw me. "Thought you were asleep," she said quickly. "Just needed some air," I said, walking past her. She watched me for a second, then smiled. "You should get rest. Big day tomorrow." "Yeah," I said, "big day." I went back downstairs and opened the laptop again. The footage was still there, untouched. I hovered over the play button. My finger trembled. But I didn't press it. Not yet. Saturday morning, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror, shaving like it was any other day. Karen walked in behind me, brushing her teeth, humming something off key. "You're looking better," she said, rinsing her mouth. "Yeah, fever finally broke." She smiled and kissed my shoulder. "Good. You'll be able to make it to Mom's party tonight." I nodded. "Wouldn't miss it." She turned to the mirror, fixing her hair. "I told her you might not come. She'll be happy." I watched her in the reflection. Calm. Effortless. Like she hadn't spent the last 2 nights in our bed with someone else. "I'll wear the green dress," she said, walking out. "The one she likes." I waited until I heard her footsteps fade before walking to the bedroom. I opened the closet, reached behind the stack of old board games, and pulled out the hard drive. I'd transferred all the camera footage to it the night before. Labeled. Dated. Ready. I slipped it into my laptop downstairs and hit play. The screen lit up with the living room feed. Karen opening the door. Ricky walking in. They hugged, kissed, laughed. She poured wine. He pulled her onto the couch. They whispered things I couldn't hear, but their eyes said enough. Then they went upstairs. I clicked to the bedroom feed. She was on top of him, laughing. He pulled her close, whispered something in her ear. She giggled and said, "You're so bad." They toasted with wine glasses. Clinked them together like they were celebrating something. I paused the video. My hands were shaking. I closed the laptop and sat back. The room felt smaller than usual, tighter. Later that afternoon, I helped Karen load the car with decorations for the party. She handed me a box of wine glasses. "Be careful with those. They're Mom's favorite." "Got it," I said, placing them gently in the trunk. On the drive over, she talked about the speech she was helping her mom write. "She's nervous," Karen said. "But I told her to just speak from the heart. Say what she's proud of, what she's thankful for." I stared at the road. "That's good advice." She reached over and squeezed my hand. "I'm glad you're coming." When we arrived, the house was already buzzing. Zoe was in the kitchen, laughing with her friends. Hassan gave me a hug and clapped my back. "Man, you're lucky," he said, nodding toward Karen. "She's been running around all week planning this. You married up." I forced a smile. "Yeah, I know." Karen was in the living room, showing her mom how to hold the mic. "Just breathe," she said. "Tell your story. Make them feel it." I watched her. The way she moved. The way she smiled at her mom, at the guests. She looked like the perfect daughter. The perfect wife. I stepped outside to get some air. My phone buzzed. A text from Kennedy. "You ready?" I stared at the screen for a second, then typed back, "Almost." Back inside, I found a quiet corner and opened my laptop. I pulled up the footage again. This time, I watched it all. Every second. The way she smiled at him. The way she whispered his name. The way she said, "I needed this." They didn't just hook up. They enjoyed it. They celebrated it. I closed the laptop and took a deep breath. Karen walked over, holding 2 glasses of champagne. "Here," she said, handing me one. "To Mom." I raised mine. "To Truth." She laughed. "You're so weird sometimes." The rest of the evening blurred. Toasts, laughter, music, Karen glowing like nothing was wrong. But I saw Ricky walk in around 7:30. He wore a blazer, no tie. Confident. Smug. He caught my eye and smirked. I didn't look away. Later, as the cake was brought out, Karen leaned in and whispered, "You should say something. About Mom. She'd love that." I smiled. "I've got something planned." She kissed my cheek. "I knew you'd come through." I pulled out my phone, opened the app that linked to the venue's projector. Kennedy texted again. "Showtime?" I looked across the room at Karen. She was helping her mom cut the cake, laughing, radiant. I typed one word. Yes. The room was full. Family, friends, co-workers, people Karen had known her whole life. Laughter echoed off the walls. Champagne flutes clinked, and Zoe looked like she might cry from joy. Karen stood beside her, holding the mic, smiling like she hadn't shattered everything behind closed doors. I stood near the back, phone in hand, heart pounding like a war drum in my chest. Kennedy stood across the room near the AV table. He gave me a subtle nod. Karen raised her glass. "To my mom," she said, her voice smooth and confident. "The strongest woman I know. The person who taught me how to love, how to forgive, how to build a life." Applause. I swallowed the lump in my throat and tapped my phone. The screen on the wall behind her flickered. She turned, confused, as the projector came to life. At first, people thought it was a slideshow. A home video, maybe. Something sweet. Then the living room appeared. Our living room. Karen on the couch. Ricky next to her. Wine glasses in hand. The room went still. Someone near the front gasped. Karen's voice filled the air. "You brought the good stuff." Then Ricky. "Only the best for you." The footage rolled on, crystal clear. Them laughing, kissing. Her straddling him, hands in his hair, moaning his name. Zoe's glass slipped from her hand and shattered. Karen spun around, eyes wide. "No! Turn it off! Turn it off!" But it was too late. The screen cut to the bedroom. Karen in lingerie I'd never seen before. Ricky behind her, both of them laughing. A scream broke the silence. Someone sobbed. Karen ran to the AV table, yanking cords, knocking over the projector. The screen went black. "Who did this?" she shouted, eyes wild. "Who the hell?" I stepped forward. "I did." She turned to me, face pale. "Mickey." I held up my phone. "You lied to me. You lied to everyone in this room." Her father stepped forward, face red, fists clenched. "What the hell is this?" "She's been cheating," I said. "For months. With Ricky. In our house. In our bed." Ricky tried to disappear into the crowd, but Hassan grabbed his arm. "You serious, man?" he growled. "That's my sister." Karen's mom swayed, clutching her chest. Someone helped her to a chair. Karen dropped to her knees. Please stop." I looked down at her. "You planned it. You laughed about it. You said it was easy." Her father lunged at me, but Kennedy stepped between us. "Don't," Kennedy said firmly. "He's not the one who broke this family." Karen crawled toward me, mascara streaking down her face. "It was a mistake, just one mistake." "Which night?" I asked. "The first? The second? Or the one where you toasted to it?" She sobbed. "Please, Makey. Please don't do this here." I looked around the room. Every eye on us. Every face stunned. "You did this," I said quietly. "I'm just showing them who you really are." I turned and walked out, the sound of her crying echoing behind me. Outside, the cold hit me like a slap. I stood on the curb, breathing hard, trying not to fall apart. Kennedy joined me a minute later, holding a folder. "Divorce packet," he said. "Signed, filed. Just needs your signature on the last page." I took it with shaking hands. "You okay?" he asked. I nodded slowly. "I will be." My phone buzzed. "Karen." I let it ring. Then another call. Voicemail. I played it. Her voice was broken. "Makey, I know you hate me. I know I deserve it. But I need to tell you something. The baby might not be yours. Please call me. Please." I stared at the screen. Kennedy looked at me. "What now?" I slid the phone into my pocket. "Now?" I said. "Now I burn it all down." I didn't sleep that night. Just sat at the kitchen table, phone in one hand, Karen's voicemail playing on loop. The baby might not be yours. She sounded wrecked, like she finally realized what she'd done. But that line, might not, that was the part that hit me in the chest. Like she was still clinging to the idea that I'd give her the benefit of the doubt, that I'd wait around to find out. Kennedy showed up around 10 the next morning with coffee and a look that said he already knew. "You listened to it?" he asked, sliding the cup across the table. "Yeah." "You believe her?" I shook my head. "I already ran the test. Got the results yesterday morning." He blinked. "Wait, you already?" I pulled the envelope from the drawer and handed it over. He opened it and read the line I'd already memorized. Probability of paternity, 0.0%. Kennedy let out a low whistle. Jesus. I took her toothbrush, swabbed my daughter's pacifier, sent it in last week. He leaned back in the chair. "You always were 10 steps ahead." I stared at the envelope. I had to know before I walked away. He nodded slowly. "So what now?" I unlocked my phone and opened the video Bella sent me the night before. She worked in Karen and Ricky's office. Quiet. Kept to herself. But she'd seen enough. I hit play. Ricky was in the break room, bragging to some guy I didn't recognize. "Bagged a married one again," he laughed. "Just like with Lacey. These women love the danger." The guy laughed. "You're gonna get caught one day." Ricky sipped his coffee. "Please. She's dumb in love. Her husband's a ghost." I paused it and looked at Kennedy. "You remember Lacey?" He nodded. "Karen's old friend. The one who disappeared." "Yeah, I think Ricky was the reason." Kennedy frowned. "You think Karen cheated with him back then too?" I nodded. "And Lacey found out. That's why she left." He sat forward. "You planning to talk to her?" "Already messaged her. No response yet." Kennedy rubbed his jaw. "You gonna send that voicemail to Karen's boss?" "Not just yet," I said. "There's one more person who needs to hear it first." I forwarded the voicemail to Hassan. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. "Tell me that voicemail's fake," Hassan said, voice low and tight. "It's real." He was quiet for a second. "I didn't believe it at first. I thought you were just trying to hurt her." "I was, but I'm not lying." "You have proof?" "I emailed you the DNA results." Another long pause. "I'm sorry, man. I didn't know it was this deep." "I know," he sighed. "She's not staying at Mom's anymore. Dad kicked her out last night." "Where is she?" "No clue. She won't talk to anyone." I hung up and opened my email. Attached the video of Ricky bragging, the voicemail, and the DNA results. Typed out a short message. "To whom it may concern, please see attached documentation regarding ongoing ethical violations involving 2 employees. Makey." I hit send. Karen was about to lose everything she used to hide behind. Her job, her image, her story. That evening, I got a message from Bella. Just 2 words. "He's fired." An hour later, Karen called again. I didn't answer. She texted, "Please, I'm sorry, I need to talk to you. Just once." I stared at the screen, then typed back, "Come by tomorrow. Noon." Kennedy looked up from the couch. "You sure about that?" "Yeah, I need to see her face when I say goodbye." The next day, at exactly noon, she showed up barefoot, hair a mess, mascara dried in streaks down her cheeks. She looked like someone who hadn't slept in days. She didn't knock, just collapsed on the porch, sobbing. "I have nothing left," she whispered. "They suspended me. Ricky's gone. My parents won't talk to me. Hassan won't answer my calls. I don't even know where to go." I opened the door. She looked up at me, eyes swollen. "Please. I know I ruined everything. But I didn't mean to lose you too." I didn't say a word. She reached for my leg, clutching it. "Please, I'm sorry. I'll do anything. I gently lifted her hands off me. Then I closed the door. Karen sat on the porch long after I closed the door. I could see her through the peephole, knees pulled to her chest, rocking slightly. But I didn't open it again. Not even when she started knocking softly. Not even when she whispered my name. I waited until she finally left, barefoot, broken, and silent. Later that night, Kennedy dropped by again. He set a brown envelope on the table and slid it toward me. "Here's everything," he said. "Voicemail transcript, video, DNA results, all packaged and ready." I nodded. "Thanks. You still want to send it to her boss?" "Already did." He raised an eyebrow. "You're not playing around." She didn't either. He leaned back in the chair. "You know they're launching an ethics review, right? HR already reached out to Bella." "Good." He paused. "You sure you're not doing this just to hurt her?" I looked him straight in the eye. "I'm doing it to make sure she never gets to rewrite the story." He nodded slowly. "Fair." I opened my laptop and pulled up the voicemail again. Karen's voice filled the room. "The baby? Might not be yours." Kennedy flinched. "Still hits hard." I clicked on the DNA report and attached both files to a new email. This time, I addressed it to Zoe, Hassan, and Roland. Subject: For clarity. This is why I walked away. Meki. I hit send. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. It was Zoe. "I didn't know," she said. Her voice was soft, broken. "I swear to you, I didn't know." "I believe you." She told me it was just a rough patch, that you'd changed, that you were distant. I was working 2 jobs when she started cheating. She sniffled. "I'm sorry, I should have seen it." No one wanted to. Another call came in. Hassan this time. "You weren't lying," he said. "I listened to the voicemail twice. Then I read the report. Yeah. I told her to stay away from me. From my kids. I can't have that around them." "I get it." He paused. "You need anything, man? Anything at all?" "I'm good. Just needed the truth to be loud." After the calls, I opened my messages and found Ricky's number. I hadn't texted him once, not even when I caught him on camera. I sent him a photo of the projector screen from the party, Karen and him in bed, frozen mid-frame. Caption: Got the whole thing in 4K. Seconds later, the typing bubbles popped up. Ricky: You think this makes you a man? Me: No, just makes me free. He didn't reply after that. I turned off the phone and walked to the bedroom, opened the drawer where I kept the ring box. Her engagement ring still sat inside, untouched since the day I took it off her finger. I stared at it for a second, then closed the box and slipped it into my pocket. The next morning, I walked into the local pawn shop. The clerk behind the counter looked up and smiled. "Got something to trade?" I set the box down and opened it. His eyes widened. "That's a beauty. She must have said yes quick." I gave a small smile. She said yes too often, to the wrong people. He chuckled, not getting it. "Well, I'll give you a fair deal." "I'm not here for the money," I said. "Just take it." He blinked. "You sure?" "Yeah." I walked out without looking back. That afternoon, I checked my email again. A reply from Zoe. "I don't know if you'll ever forgive her. I don't expect you to. But I want you to know I'm proud of how you handled this. You didn't destroy her. She did that to herself." I stared at the screen for a moment, then closed the laptop. Later that night, I got a message from a number I didn't recognize. "This is Lacey. I got your message. We should talk. You're not the only one she lied to." I stared at it, thumb hovering over the screen. Then I typed back, "Tomorrow, noon." Coffee House on 5th. The story wasn't over yet, not until every lie was dragged into the light. Lacey walked into the coffee shop at exactly noon. Same sharp eyes, same heavy stare. She spotted me near the back and walked over without hesitation. "Didn't think I'd ever hear from you," she said, sliding into the seat across from me. "I didn't know I needed to until last week." She nodded. "So you finally found out?" "About Ricky. About Karen. About everything." She leaned back, arms crossed. "She told everyone I was jealous, that I made up stories to ruin her marriage. I lost half my friends because of her. She said you had a misunderstanding." Lacey snorted. "Yeah. The misunderstanding was me walking in on her and Ricky in my apartment, while I was dating him." I blinked. "Wait, your apartment?" "Yep, they were both drunk." She laughed when I caught them. Told me I was boring. That he needed someone like her. I clenched my jaw. She never told me any of that. She wouldn't. She's always been good at playing the victim. I slid my phone across the table. "Listen to this." She picked it up and played the voicemail. Karen's voice cracked through the speaker. "The baby. Might not be yours." Lacey's face didn't flinch. "Wow. I already ran the test," I said. She was lying even in the apology. Lacey handed the phone back. "So, what's your plan?" I took a breath. "Already in motion. She's suspended from work. Ricky's fired. Her family knows everything. But I want to make sure she can't spin this." Lacey's eyes lit up. "You want to end the story before she rewrites it." "Exactly." She reached into her bag and pulled out a flash drive. "I kept this, just in case." "What is it?" "Screenshots, emails, messages between her and Ricky. From when she was still married. Dates, times, everything. Including one where she jokes about how easy it is to fool a sweet guy like Mickey." I took the drive, fingers tight around it. "Thank you." Lacey leaned in. "You're not the only one she hurt. Just make sure she never gets to pretend she didn't." I nodded. "I will." That night, I uploaded everything. Emails, screenshots, the voicemail, the DNA results, and the break room video of Ricky bragging into a shared folder. Then I wrote a short message. "To whom it may concern, this folder contains material relevant to the ongoing investigation into employee misconduct. I believe this provides full context. Mickey." I sent it to her HR department, copying their ethics board. The next morning, I got the reply. "Thank you. The employee in question has been placed on indefinite unpaid leave pending termination review." I stared at the screen for a moment, then forwarded the email to Karen. No message. Just the subject line. Closure. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. Then I sent the same folder to her father, mother, and Hassan. I didn't add a caption. Didn't need to. By noon, Hassan texted. "She's out of the house. Dad told her she's not welcome back." An hour later, Ricky messaged me. "You think this makes you better than me?" I replied, "No, just cleaner." Then I blocked his number. That evening, I sat on the porch with Kennedy. He handed me a beer and raised his bottle. "To the quiet ones," he said. I clinked mine against his. "To the ones who wait." We watched the sun dip behind the trees. The air felt lighter. My chest didn't hurt the way it used to. Then headlights pulled into my driveway. Karen. She stepped out slowly, hair tied back, face bare. No makeup, no mask. She walked barefoot again, like the first time. This time, she didn't cry. She just looked empty. "I lost everything," she said softly. I didn't move. "You made sure of that." "No," I said. "You did." She walked up the steps, stopped in front of me. "I don't have a job, no place to stay. My parents won't talk to me. Hassan blocked me. I'm alone." I looked her in the eyes. You were never alone. You just wanted more. She swallowed. I was stupid. You were cruel. She stepped closer. I know I don't deserve it, but can we talk? I stood up, walked past her, and opened the door. She turned, hopeful. I stepped inside and closed it behind me. I dropped the signed paternity challenge papers on the courthouse clerk's desk. She glanced at them, then looked up at me. You're contesting? I nodded. Yeah. Do you have the supporting documents? I handed her the DNA results, notarized. My name, the child's name, 0% match. She flipped through the pages, then stamped the top one. You'll get a court date in the mail. Thanks. As I turned to leave, the clerk said, I'm sorry, that must have been hard. I gave her a small nod. It was necessary. Outside, the sun was bright and sharp. I slid on my sunglasses and walked down the steps, one hand in my pocket, the other holding the envelope I didn't need anymore. Karen had texted me that morning. We need to talk about Amelia. I didn't respond, because there was nothing left to talk about. She'd spent the last week trying to crawl back into the life she burned down, calling my phone, sending emails, begging through mutual friends. Even tried to guilt me through Zoe, who shut her down fast. She made her choices. Zoe had said over the phone, You just showed us what they really were. Hassan hadn't spoken to her since I sent the folder. He texted me once. You did the right thing, man. She needed to be exposed. Ricky had gone silent too. Word around the office was he tried to threaten HR with a lawsuit, but Bella leaked the break room video to the ethics board. His case vanished. Kennedy met me outside the courthouse, leaning against his car. You did it, he said, tossing me a bottle of water. Feels weird. Justice usually does, especially when it's quiet. I opened the bottle, took a long drink, then looked at him. You think she'll fight the paternity challenge? He shook his head. Not with that DNA test, and definitely not with Malachi listed as the probable biological father. Still haven't heard from him. You will, once the papers hit. I pulled out the ring receipt from the pawn shop and handed it to Kennedy. Keep it, I said. Proof I let go. He smiled. You sure you're ready? I've never been more sure of anything. That night, I packed up the rest of Karen's things. Left them on the porch in 3 boxes, labeled and taped. I didn't even bother texting her. They'd be gone by morning. I knew she'd find out. I walked through the house slowly after that, room by room. The silence didn't hurt anymore. It felt clean. In the bedroom, I grabbed the last piece, a framed photo of our wedding day. I stared at it for a second, then flipped it over and slid out the picture. Just the photo. No glass. No frame. I walked it out to the fire pit in the backyard. Lit a match. Watched it curl and blacken until her smile disappeared in smoke. The next morning, my doorbell rang. It was Zoe. She looked tired but calm, holding a small envelope. I found this in Karen's old room, she said. It's addressed to you. I took it and opened it on the spot. Inside was a handwritten letter. Short. Meki, you were never the problem. I was. I don't expect forgiveness, but I hope one day you'll find peace. I loved you once. I should have protected that. I'm sorry. Karen Zoe watched me read it, then said, I don't excuse what she did, but I needed you to see it. I folded the letter and slid it into my back pocket. Thanks, I said. She nodded. You're a good man. Don't let this change that. As she walked away, I looked up at the sky. Clear. No clouds, just light. Later that afternoon, I stopped by the courthouse again. Dropped off a second set of papers, this time finalizing the divorce. The clerk smiled. You're all set. I walked out feeling something I hadn't in a long time. Free. No more lies. No more pretending. Just me. I crossed the street, sunglasses on, the city humming around me. You burn the bridge behind you when you don't plan to ever look back.